Pakistan Occupied Kashmir is on the edge. This story is disturbing and we advise viewer discretion. The towns in Pakistan Occupied Kashmir have become battlefields. Protesters are clashing with the police. Cars are being set on fire. People are dying. There is a cry for Azadi, freedom, in Pakistan Occupied Kashmir. It is day 4 of continuous protests. To say that the mood in POK is tense will be an understatement. In a first, rangers have been deployed in POK. Paramilitary forces are continuously parading the towns. Internet has been suspended. Schools are shut. Offices are shut. This is what a civil war looks like. The people of Pakistan Occupied Kashmir are marching to the capital, Muzafarabad. In Muzafarabad city, everything has been brought to a standstill in preparation for the worst. The last few days have been extremely violent. Protesters from across POK began marching to Muzafarabad. Authorities tried to stop them in Rawalakot. Protesters were tear-gassed, lathi-charged. Paramilitary forces and the police also fired at the protesters, but nothing could stop them. The protesters continued their march, and on the way they burned government vehicles, even manhandled policemen. In one video, in fact, you can see a policeman being thrown down a hillock. In another video, a man is seen falling into a river. We've also been able to access this video in which a policeman can be seen being chased and beaten by protesters. And here you have 2 policemen being cornered and manhandled. We are being told that a police sub-inspector was killed in the firing by the protesters. So far, at least 100 people have been injured. 11 of them are policemen. Like I said, what's happening in Pakistan Occupied Kashmir is violent. It is an uprising against oppression. It is a civil war. Towns like Mirpur, Islamgarh, Kotli have become battlefields. These are parts of Kashmir that have been under Pakistan's illegal occupation since 1947. For decades, Kashmiris living under Pakistan's occupation have been mistreated by Pakistan. The resources of their rich land have been exploited. No progress has come their way. People in Pakistan Occupied Kashmir are impoverished. As Kashmir on the other side of the border, flourishes and witnesses record tourism. How do you think the people in POK feel about that? In POK, Pakistan is denying people their basic freedom and rights. They are fighting inflation, high taxation. People on the other side of the border are prospering. So, would you blame the people of POK for their frustration? Now, we are not justifying violence. We are only asking a basic question. Can you blame these protesters? Their demands, you see, are simple and extremely basic. These protesters want flour prices to be brought down and made at par with prices of the flour at Gilgit-Baltistan. In POK, a 30 kg bag costs 2,400 Pakistani rupees. In Gilgit-Baltistan, however, the same costs 1,100 rupees. That's a difference of over 1,000 Pakistani rupees. What justifies this? Nothing but exploitation. Protesters want affordable electricity. They are demanding that per unit of current be fixed at 3.25 Pakistani rupees. These are legitimate demands. So what is stopping the government from addressing them? There were negotiations between the protesters and the administration, but the talks failed. And now, after the spate of violence, Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif has called for an all-stakeholders meeting. The government has now approved a 24 billion Pakistani rupee grant for POK. This is some $86.25 million. But how will this grant be used? Pakistan has not said. Flour and electricity prices are expected to drop. The protesters are not convinced. To begin with, they want written assurances. Also, we have a question. From where is Pakistan getting this kind of money? It's easy to commit, but will Pakistan be able to deliver? Because until it does, any lull will only be temporary. You see, what's happening in POK is not some sporadic protests out of the blue. People in POK have been protesting continuously since October 2023. Protests are being organized across POK under the umbrella of Awami Action Committee. Who is in it? Traders are at the forefront. There are also lawyers, political parties. They are highlighting basic things. Electricity bills, for example, wheat subsidy, shortage of flour, rights on natural resources, transfer of ownership of hydro projects to the government of POK. People have also been protesting the illegal usurpation of land by the Pakistani army. October 2023 to May 2024. It's a long time. Has the government of Pakistan done nothing? Meetings have been held, their minutes have been published, but nothing has really changed on the ground. This blatant disregard has forced the protesters to take extreme measures. They have asked the people of POK to not pay their electricity bill. The protesters of POK also decided to observe the 5th of February as Black Day. The 5th of February, like some of you may already know, is when the government of Pakistan marks the so-called Kashmir Solidarity Day. In POK, protesters called for a complete shutdown to mark the day. They decided to rebrand the day as People's Rights Day. The government of Pakistan could not do much in the face of this insult, so it activated the non-state actors. Jaish-e-Mohammed, the terror outfit responsible for the 2019 Pulwama attack, jumped into action. It threatened the people of POK against observing People's Rights Day. And if that was not enough, on the 5th of February, the terrorists took out a rally in Rawalkot. They brandished AK-47s, bows, arrows, batons. JEM called for jihad. People's Rights Day was still observed, as was Yom-e-Mazamat, or the Day of Resistance, on the 5th of March. The protesters then announced the long march from different parts of POK to capital Muzafarabad on the 11th of May. Cut to present, there is an uprising, a revolt, calls for Azadi. Reports also talk about posters coming up across POK demanding that the illegally occupied land be liberated and allowed to join India. One POK activist, Amjad Ayub Mirza, called for intervention by the Indian government. In an interview to an Indian news agency, Mirza said, and I'm quoting now, India now should focus all its attention on Pakistan occupied Jammu and Kashmir and help and facilitate the independence of this occupied territory, including Gilgit-Baltistan. To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.